Hello, little dragons! Today we're going to be continuing our discussion about three-dimensional figures and volume. Now, if you remember from the last class, we said that volume is how much stuff can fit into a three-dimensional shape, whereas surface area is the actual area of the sides that go around a three-dimensional shape. Now, today we're just going to be focusing on the volume of two different kinds of three-dimensional shapes, the prism and the cylinder. Okay? We're just going to basically be going through step by step how to find the volume, and if you follow along, you'll be able to find the volume of any prism or any cylinder that you like. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is find the volume of the following figure. And we look to our right, and this looks like a rectangular prism. The first step to doing this is to draw and label what the base looks like, okay? It's going to help you out a lot. So the first thing to do is, let's find the base. Now the base is down here. You see this guy right here? This is the bottom of our figure, the base of it, alright? And so if we were to draw what that looked like in two dimensions, it would just look like a rectangle, right? Now we also want to label it, so the length of it would be a 6 and the width would be a 5. Now the second part is to find the area of this base, okay? To find the area, we look up the formula, and if you remember, to find the area of a rectangle, it's length times width. Now in this case we plug in our values, which is 6 times 5, and so our base area is going to be 30 feet squared, okay? That's our base area, 30 feet squared. Now the second part is to find the height. Now height is just on the side over here. That's how tall the figure is, alright? And our height is given to us as 8. Now to find the actual volume, what we need to do is know the formula, and that was given to you on your reference sheet. If you go to your back page of your packet, you should see a reference sheet with all the different formulas listed. Now if you look under prism, the volume of prism, you'll see that the volume formula is the volume equals the base times the height. Alright, that's the area of the base times the height. Now luckily we found both of those, so that makes it a lot easier. And to do that, we just plug in our values now. So we found out that our base is equal to 30 feet. Alright, so we're just going to put 30. And our height is equal to 8. Now that should also say feet, left that out. 30 feet. Now we multiply these together and we find out that our volume of this figure, how much stuff would fit into it, would be equal to 240. Now we're not done. Why? Because 240 doesn't really mean anything, right? If I said how much water fits in there and you said 240, I wouldn't really know what you're talking about. So we actually have to add our units. So don't forget, we're going to write this in a full sentence. The volume of this prism, is 240 feet cubed. And the reason we put cubed over here is because that tells us how many dimensions. This is a three-dimensional figure, so it's going to be cubed. How many cubic feet fit in there? And that would be our final answer. Okay, now we're going to find the volume of a cylinder, which is exactly the same steps as finding the volume of a prism. So let's just get started. The first thing we do is we're going to draw and label the base again. Now if we look at the bottom over here, we got this thing, right? It's kind of this curve. Now the top and the bottom are going to look exactly the same. These are parallel figures. So we know it's going to look like a circle. So let's just draw that over here. We got ourselves a circle with a radius of 4 inches. Now the second part is find the area of that base. So what we're going to do is look up our formula for a circle, and we see that that is pi times r squared. Alright, we plug in our radius, so it's going to be pi times 4 squared. We plug this into our calculator, and remember, pi is equal to 3.14. We're going to round it off. We put this into our calculator, and we see that we get, that gives us 50.24. Alright, so we got the area of our base. Don't forget the units, that's going to be inches squared. Second part, we're going to find our height. Our height's the easy part, right? It's just how tall this figure is. And that height is just right here, and we see that that is 6 inches. Now finally, we're going to write the formula for the volume of a cylinder, and we look that up on our reference sheet in the back, and we see that it says, once again, volume equals base times height. It's exactly the same. We plug in our values now. So the volume is going to be equal to 50.24 times 6. Okay? We put that into our trusty calculator, and let's see what we get. We get 301.44. Now, is this our final answer? No, because that really doesn't mean anything. We're trying to figure out how much stuff is going to fit into this cylinder. So 301.44 doesn't really mean anything to anyone. But if I said, how much stuff or how much water could I fit into this cylinder over here, you could say to me, well, the volume of the cylinder is equal to, is 301.44 inches cubed. Once again, it's cubed because it's a three-dimensional figure. Okay guys, remember, if you just follow these steps through, you'll be able to find the volume of any cylinder or prism. Okay? So remember, respect your parents, drink a lot of milk, and do your homework, and you'll be doing just great. Alright guys, till next time.